Wars is back on Disney Plus with a brand new series, Star Wars Skeleton Crew. And for many people, that either might be the worst thing that you've ever heard, that Star Wars is back on Disney Plus, or maybe it's the greatest thing because you enjoy a lot of what Disney Plus has to offer. For me, if you've watched the channel, I mean, you know where I'm at with the Star Wars Disney Plus stuff. I, for the most part, am a big fan of some of it, and some of it I just enjoy. None of it's like been absolute garbage to me, but I understand a lot of people who do hate a lot of the Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus. I don't think the Acolyte, I like the beginning, but it definitely started to fall off a little bit, and that's why I stopped covering it. But here we are with Skeleton Crew, a series that I have not been excited for at all. Like, John Watts coming into craft a Star Wars series doesn't really intrigue me. I liked his Spider-Man movies quite a bit, but you know, how much of that is the machine of the studios and how much is that him being the creative force? And I've liked some of his more independent efforts as well, but it's just, for me, like, this just didn't intrigue me at all. But then they say the concept is Goonies in the Star Wars universe, and it kind of piques my interest because I grew up with Goonies and I really like the Goonies. And now after watching the first 3 episodes, which you can watch the first 2 right now, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you can watch the first 2. I think you should, especially if you have a family. But after watching the first 3, I walked away going, I liked it. It changed my opinion. I don't know if the rest of the series will be good, but I liked it for what it is. Is it something that's like mind-blowing? Is it something I would like recommend to every single person? No. But I think if you're someone who's like trying to get their kids into Star Wars, I actually think this is like a really good like starting point for them. Now, of course, yes, you would start them with the original trilogy or maybe even the prequels, depending on where you are, or maybe even the Clone Wars animated series. I mean, that's personally where I would start out. But for me, this does feel like a perfect entryway point for a parent to get their kids into Star Wars. And a lot of that is because it does truly feel like Goonies in the Star Wars universe. The main characters are kids. And while some of it, I mean, we're in a Star Wars universe, so like saying it's unrealistic is stupid to say, but some of it does feel unrealistic. Some of it is a little bit cheesy. Some of the acting isn't the best. But I think for me, like, the charm of the kids, which like are all pretty damn good, is exciting. And the adventure that they end up going on is exciting. And I think for me, what really grabbed my attention initially on Skeleton Crew once it started was truly the pirate theme. Like, it is an entire pirate series. And overall, this is about 4 children who end up on an adventure to make their way home after being lost in the galaxy, following a discovery that they make on their home planet, leading to pirates, treasure, and a mysterious stranger that joins them along the way, which that mysterious stranger is, of course, Jude Law, who, for people who are like coming to this for Jude Law, just as a context, he doesn't really populate into here until the end of episode 2, but I really liked what they started to do with him in episode 3, and I'm more intrigued to see more of his character, and particularly like this adventure that they're going on. And I think all of these elements intrigue me because it is an adventure series, but it's also a series made for kids. Almost every way, shape, and form, Skeleton Crew is a show made for kids and made for families to enjoy. If you are coming to this to watch the next life-altering Star Wars event, you are not going to get that. If you're coming to here to watch something that's going to add to the Star Wars universe, I don't know if it will yet. I think a lot of us assumed the Acolyte was going to be that way, and I think for the most part, like, some elements did and some elements didn't, but it just completely disbanded a lot of the fan base once again. But Skeleton Crew isn't here to reunite the fan base either. It's not here to change or alter any of the courses. It's to really just kind of go into a different pocket of the Star Wars universe, which might be what you're looking for. And there are elements that are very intriguing to this, specifically the planet that they come from, like their viewpoint, their world, their ideologies, like certain things that like intrigue me enough to where I'm like, I want to learn more about that. And I think that's where I kind of left this series, is that by the end of episode 3, I can't say that I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to watch this right away every single Tuesday after it premieres, but I am going to watch it at least within the same week and stay up to date with this. I think Skeleton Crew would have done a phenomenal, great job, and we'll be able to tell this more once the series ends, is if it just all released all at once. I think this is one of the few series that I would have said that it should have. Or maybe just release episode 3s here. Next week you land another 3 episodes, and vice versa, the same thing. After another week you land another 3 episodes until the series is done. Kind of like what Netflix does with Arcane, which I think is a very interesting model to go about. I think that maybe would have been the best thing to do with Skeleton Crew. But the show did prove me wrong. Like, it proved me wrong from someone who kind of put off watching the screeners, didn't really know how I was going to cover this, didn't really even know if I had the intrigue level to really cover this, but I finished it. I watched the first 3, and I walked away going, I liked it. It's just not one of the series that's going to like blow your mind out of the water. So take that as what you will about Skeleton Crew. I overall enjoy the series so far. I do think the kids are pretty solid performers. I don't think they're like mind-blowing. I really like Jude Law in this. The elephant kid, I can't remember his name. He is adorable too. I like the new droid as well. Some of the visual effects, great. Some of the visual effects look streaming. For the most part, I come back again and say, if I watched this series as a kid when I'd like first watched the Goonies and then like jumped into this would probably be one of my favorite things of Star Wars, because just like the Goonies, like as a kid, was like one of my favorite adventure series, one of my favorite adventure movies to go on, and Skeleton Crew feels the same way. So all that said, the first 3 episodes of Skeleton Crew, I am going to give a B-2. Solid recommendations for families, but for Star Wars fans looking for something that's really going to change the course of everything and maybe bring you back into this, I don't think this is going to be the series to do so. So make sure to leave your thoughts down below, hit that like and subscribe button, and of course, until next time, stay classy.